I wonder, have you ever been anywhere that is super dark? So dark that you can't even see your hand in front of your face. In the summer, I went to a castle, and in this castle there was a staircase that led to the top of the castle so that you could see all across the land. And we got told that we should be very careful when we got to the staircase because it was very narrow, very windy, and very dark. It was hard to see where the next step was, and it was very tricky to climb the staircase. Thankfully, we had our phones with us, so we put the torches on our phones and it helped us to see where we were going and to feel safer going up the scary, windy, dark staircase. Being in the dark can be scary sometimes, can't it? We can't see what's going on and we don't know what is coming up next. But having a light makes all the difference. It lights up everything. We can see into the darkest corners and it helps us to see where we're going and it helps us to feel safer. Now, sometimes in life, it might feel like we are in the dark. We might be sad or scared or worried or finding things really hard, and it might feel like we are walking around in the dark. I am going to tell you a story from the Bible now, and it is about two sisters and their brother, and they are having a really sad time. Lazarus lived in a village called Bethany with his sisters, Mary and Martha. Jesus loved Lazarus and his sisters very much. One day, Lazarus became ill, very, very ill. So while he was lying on his bed, Mary and Martha sent a message to Jesus to tell him, "Lazarus is sick. Please come, we need you." Although he loved Mary, Martha and Lazarus very much, instead of going to their house straight away, Jesus stayed where he was for 2 more days. Lazarus got worse and worse, and sadly he died. Mary and Martha put him in a tomb. They were so sad that their brother had died, and they were sad that Jesus hadn't been there with them. When Jesus finally got to Mary and Martha, he found out that Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Martha said to Jesus, "If you had been here, Jesus, Lazarus would not have died." Mary said to Jesus, "If you had been here, Jesus, Lazarus would not have died." "Lazarus will rise again," Jesus told Martha. Jesus was also very sad that his friend Lazarus had died, but he had a plan, and his plan was going to show just how powerful God is. He went to the tomb with Mary and Martha and said, "Take the stone away." But Martha said, "Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days. It's going to stink if we open the tomb." Jesus said, "Didn't I tell you that Lazarus would rise from the dead? I am going to show you how powerful God is." So they rolled the stone away from the tomb, and Jesus prayed to God, and then he shouted, "Lazarus, come out!" Then something amazing happened. Lazarus came walking out of the tomb, wrapped in all the cloths that he had been buried in. He was alive! Just as Jesus had said, Lazarus rose again. Now, in this story, Mary and Martha were having a really sad time. Their brother was ill and then he died. And what made them feel even more sad was that Jesus didn't come straight away. They felt like they were in a really dark place. And poor Lazarus really was in a dark place. He was buried in a tomb with a stone rolled over the entrance. But then Jesus came and he raised Lazarus from the dead. and Mary and Martha and Lazarus were filled with joy and hope. Jesus had come to them in their darkest time, and it was like he shone a light in the darkness. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light that gives life." This means that Jesus will be with us in every situation, and when things are hard, he can bring light into the darkness. Now, I wonder, does this story remind you of any other story in the Bible? Someone else who was in a dark place and buried in a tomb. Jesus came into this world because it was a dark place where people had gone their own way and gone away from God. He taught people about God's love. He healed people, and he mixed with people that others didn't like. He brought light into the world. But then he got taken away and he was put on a cross. And he died on the cross, and he was put in a dark tomb, just like Lazarus was, and he stayed there for 3 days. Jesus' friends were very sad and scared. But then something amazing happened. Jesus came back to life again. Death could not stop Jesus being the light of the world. Jesus rose again and is more powerful than anything that is sad or scary or worrying or hard. And just as when we shine a light into the darkness, the light is stronger than the dark. Jesus' light and hope are stronger than any of the dark situations we face. So, whenever you are feeling sad or scared or worried, remember Jesus, light of the world, who rose from the dead and brings light into our darkness.